And now we can bring in our track solid. You know, it's still sticking there. And we can now think about something to animate, to pop out. And I was thinking we can actually make like some pictures or the availability to pop out. And also I was thinking about bring in the apps like we did on the first animation. So we have the apps here. Let's bring it in and make it a 3D layer. And let's also stick it to the position of the track solid we created. No, the other way around. I want the track solid position on here. Scale it up. And now bring in the show layer controls again. And I think we need the second view to work better. So open up the second view. Where are our apps here? And bring them closer. Down. Closer. Right here. And now we can scale them down to fit the comp. Does that make sense to have them at the top? Let's stick them there for now and see what else we can do. And let's move on. We need to lower the opacity so looking more organic. Maybe we can also change the blending mode to something like screen. Bring it up again. Ah, no, that's too much. I'll stick with that for now. Let's create a new HUD to pop out of that building. I'm just not sure. I think we just need to pop out the Radisson Blu Da Nang. Let's go with that. So I think that's looking already pretty cool. So let's copy that. Boom. Let's save that screenshot to our folder, which is this one here. We call this Radisson Blu screenshot. Move it into screenshots, open the folder. So let's import it into screenshots, open screenshot folder, and go for the Radisson Blu. Then we create a new sequence. Let's check the size of this one. Yeah, the size works for us, works for me. And now we are scaling down the PNG a tiny bit. And I would like to round up everything. So we create a rounded rectangle shape here. Oh, make sure you don't have your layer selected, otherwise you are creating a mask. So now drawing that shape, which is cool, bringing the screenshot up on top, calling it background shape, and for the fill, I'm just go with the same color as the screenshot. So if you just choose that eyedropper here, you just pick the color, boom, you have the same color, seamless, and go into the rectangle path, increase the roundness to your liking, and now we can scale up a little bit so it still looks natural. And I want some kind of stroke here, maybe like that. Yeah, looking good. And we are dropping this new HUD just created into our comp, making it a 3D layer. Boom. And copy the position of the track solid. Copy and paste onto the Radisson Blu. And now bringing up the scale. Nice. And now we can adjust rotation. Like that. Let's bring it a little bit closer. Let's scale it down. Yes. Something like that. But it just should pop into our face so we can actually see the information we are tapping on. I think we can decrease the opacity a little bit by bringing up opacity, press T, maybe 90, looking good. And I want it to be slightly on the side. Okay, nice. And we can now make it pop out of the building. So here it should be on 100%. Here we can drop it to 0. And for the position, we want it to pop out of the building. We can either change the anchor point, as I showed you before, or we're changing the position. Now we select the keyframes, ease out, and we are going to ease these ones in so it can start a little bit earlier. And also I want to smooth the curves so it looks more natural, like that. Scale curves, smooth them as well by dragging the dots, activate motion blur on that layer. It still feels delayed. You can even start a little bit earlier. You see, by tweaking these settings, you can get a way cleaner result. Scale it up a little bit. Nice. I think that's cool. Let's turn off this layer. And I want to add bar. You remember we have that white bar on the motor, the scooter window. This one, I want that. So let's create this shape here. Fill it with white, full white, and we don't need any strokes. Easy. So we create this little scale bar. We can even scale it down a little bit more. Here, even more. It's just a detail. Move it to the bottom, like that. Go into our second comp and see how it looks. Yeah, it's looking better like that. So we just need one view for now. Fit it to the window. This is looking good to me. But the frame is a little bit empty. I think we should add something more to really sell it. I don't know, I want something here on that side as well. So let's see what we can find. Redison Blue Danang. Google reviews should be good. We can maybe add the Google reviews to the left, something like that. Just screenshot it, nice, and bring it into the right folder. We call it reviews screenshot. Boom, import it into After Effects. Yes, and make a new comp. Let's drink something. Let's create a rounded shape again. And make sure the layer isn't selected. Yes, this is looking good. The bottom, call it background. Move it so it's centered. Rectangle path, roundness, increase it. Let's add a stroke for that one too. And also the shape layer. The shape layer we can increase the size, and since it's white, we are going to fill it with a darker gray and drop the opacity. Yes, something like that. And let's move it into our comp and see if we can play around with the blending mode for this one. Boom, and then screen maybe. Nope, it's not gonna work. So let's think about inverting. Yes, inverting works. And for the background, we are going to select the black color. Boom, this shape can be white again, like that, boom, but let's scale it a little bit down. Yes, I think that works way better if we change it to lighten, but the background is still too bright, so we need to change the colors. Let's try something else. And first of all, we're going to place it in 3D space and copy this position of the Redison screenshot, paste it onto our reviews, and now we can position it to the left. We're going to fine tune the position in a second, but for now, let's make it stick here. Let's see how that looks. Yeah, it looks pretty cool. The reviews there as well. We are creating a new layer, and this is going to be an adjustment layer like that. Call it blur plus darken, and we are going to apply camera lens blur and lumetri color. Increase the blur to a crazy amount, like 100 is good, I think. Basic correction -2. Like really darken it. Let's try -1 and put it below the review screenshot. That's gonna make it pop. And we are going to duplicate the review mask screenshot, call it mask review screenshot, and go to the blur and darken layer. And for the matte, we choose the mask, and voila, we have an amazing looking background and solution for the reviews. This is looking really realistic, like the Apple windows, you know. I really like that. Nice. So we're tapping onto the building. It's open up. Okay, that's the Radisson Hotel Da Nang, Google Maps. And I think it's a cool case if the reviews actually pop out of the Google Maps. Oh yeah, we need to select both if we want to adjust anything, because the top one is causing the mask, which is pretty amazing because we can move everything around and it's still gonna stick the same. But the other way is we can delete this one again, because since we know it's working, we can position our reviews first, then duplicate it and create the mask layer again. So that's gonna be way easier. So let's first animate the scale and the position. Press U. Oh yeah, this one's now the final positions. Boom. And here it can pop out from the left. Other like positions are like placed here, and we scale it down to 0. Yes, and we are going to smooth the keyframes and see how that looks. That's pretty fast, so let's smooth them as well. It's making them a little bit far. Boom. It happened actually earlier, so it looks more natural. Boom. What if it happens at the same moment? A little bit later, so you have that delay. I think that's pretty cool. And we activate motion blur. Boom. Now we can duplicate this layer and call it mask again. Enter, activate the blur and darken layer. And for the track matte, which we can see here, we can use the mask, and voila, this is looking really nice. I'm happy with that. So yeah, that's the process. I was just thinking about how we can bring this clip to life, because I don't really had an idea when I was shooting it. I was just doing some some motions with my hands, but this turns out really cool. I like that. because it makes sense. So it would be pretty cool to like drive around and like tap on buildings and see, yeah, what it actually is. But with that, we can actually increase the darkness on that bottom layer minus 0.7-ish maybe over time. So the other layers pop even more. Maybe here. And we need one more animation. And the apps are pretty into your face. So let's I'll scale it down to 70 opacity. Yeah, that's fine. But when we select it, we can, I think, no, the bar can stick there. That's fine. But we can scale it down a little bit more, so it's not that big, and you don't really pay attention to it. It might be better. So we need one more animation for the last wipe. I'm doing to the left, I think. And for that, we maybe get rid of the frames again. So I just quickly tap on it. Okay, see that the red is in blue. I don't care anymore. Boom. Here. And I think we should move both elements at the same time. So we can create a new null object, call it wipe move maybe. And we are going to attach the mask and the review parenting lasso tool. And we also going to parent the Redison screenshot. So we have both these elements parented to this null object. Now we can change the position here. And where do I start wiping? Like here, here, the wipe is over, and they should be moved out of the frame. I don't think, I mean, if you want to move them like they are sticking together, this is the right move, but I think it's even cooler if we animate it separately. So we have this one maybe flying out that way, and the other one kinda has like 1 split second delay. So this one is flying out first, zoom, or later because it came in later. And the red is in blue, position, keyframe starts earlier, something around here. And here is gone. And we are going to smooth that curves like crazy. And also here, show me the positions. Yes, show me the graphs and smooth it. Something like that. Nice. Let's drop the resolution even more so we can have a smooth playback. And if your After Effects may be running a little bit slower, you can go up to settings, disk cache and media, and empty your disk cache. And yes, I'm going to delete 92 GB, making some more space, and now it probably runs faster. Yes, that's okay, but I think drag it out even out more. And for the position here, also drag this one out more, so it's a little smoother. But one more thing we can do is we can rotoscope our hand. Since we are darkened a lot, we need our hand to be normal lit. So yeah, we have one movement here and here, so one clip. Choose the rotoscope tool, go to full resolution, click on your clip and select the arm. Wow. Actually, one time selection. Okay, we need to adjust it a little bit, but at first selection was impressive, man. Not gonna lie. Oh yeah, okay, if you look closer, it's not perfect, but a good starting point. Select the hand. Boom. Boom. Nice. And now we can start. And the rotoscope tool does an incredible job here. I think that's pretty cool. Perfect. We can delete the camera tracker and freeze that frame. So we have isolated the hand as well. Love that. Rendering. Time for drinking, guys. Check the composition and it's looking hopefully better. Let's also add the refine hard matte. Increase it by around 20 and drop the resolution so we can have a playback. Yes, looking better. Yes, way better. Nice. Okay, I think we have just created our second clip for this animation. And of course, if you edit an Apple Vision Pro video, make sure you have an Apple. You can feel the spirit, the vibe. That's cool. I'm trying to keep it minimalistic because of course we're driving a motorbike. So if we add more windows, it could be distracting, but maybe one more idea. We can maybe add the time, but we can add this in a new comp. So we are going to the comps folder, new comp, yes, and we want it 1080 by 1350. Call this one time, and now we are. Time is it now? 11:01. That's a good time. And let's go with. I don't have the Apple font here, which would be look way better if I had. But let's use. This font doesn't look like Apple. It looks more like Samsung, but I like Montserrat a lot. Gothic, nope. Okay, to make it really realistic, we're going to search for Apple font download free. Can we download? It's San Francisco. I think I've downloaded it once. I don't know. Okay, not on that machine. Let's download it from the Apple page. So it looks 100% accurate. SF Pro. Let's go with that one and see how that looks. Boom, open up DMG, install it. Yes, 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 yes. All right, installed. And this one was called SF Pro. SF Pro. And we are going for bold. I feel like it should look something like that. So let's center it, align, boom, boom. No, I think it was right, like 100, 100. Just looks so weird to me. Maybe full resolution. Yeah, that looks better. I think this is correct. So let's go for 100, 100 and link it again. Scale it up a little bit, and now we are going to add the date as well, since it's showing like that on the iPhone. It's Tuesday the 13th of February. And we go for fin. Fin or normal? We have regular. Yes, regular. Yes. Scale it down a little bit so it's matching, and go to align, center, position, bring it down. I think we need to change it a little bit. 98 scale. Okay, we say 95. 95 it is. Okay, cool. That's looking good. Let's bring into our second comp the final touches. We can move the apps down a bit. Apps here. Down a tiny bit. Copy the position. Bring in the time. Make it a 3D layer. Open up position. Paste the position. And scale it up. Like that. Move it up. Like. And let's also copy the orientation of the apps comp so it looks right. Nice. I think this is a good final touch we've added there. What we can do is we can duplicate this one and move it back in C space a little bit and fill it with black, you know, shadows. Just all about the shadows. And now it looks 3D. Let's add a fast box blur and increase it by 10. Let's say 10. 10 looks good. And now we bring down the opacity to 70 or 60. So you can see the difference here. We can call it shadows so we don't get confused. And yes, down. So turn on, turn off. It makes a big difference, but you can't really tell if you don't know the before and after. But you know, like that is looking way better. I think that's solid. I think that's our number 2. Yeah, looking pretty good. I'm checking one last time. Maybe we can make them pop out as well. So some more is happening. One last thing. Oh, there's always one last thing, but this is the last thing. Shadows, time, and apps. Move them a little bit to the left, but also the shadow and the time. I don't feel it's centered. Maybe here. And we can create scale keyframes. Drag it more to the beginning. Scale 0. Easy ease out and ease in the keyframes. Add motion blur and see how that looks. All right. Yes, that's cool. Let's make it pop 1 second later, or a couple of frames later. But the other way around, let's make pop in the time first and then the apps. Yes, nice. All right, cool. Nice, we got our second clip ready.